Random acts of kindness. Seldom can words penned on the edge of a table mat in a restaurant have echoed around the world the way those penned by Anne Bancroft in 1982 in Sausalito, California did. What she wrote was, "Practice random acts of kindness." 15 years later, I saw these phrases on a bumper sticker here in Ireland. In 2005, it was proposed to have a National Random Act of Kindness Day in New Zealand. And last year in London, 12,000 children received toys from the Random Act of Kindness group. So, what does random act of kindness mean? What's kindness? And how does random affect it? Does kindness have to be religious? I don't think so. We'll look at the religious parts of kindness, but we'll also see that kindness can be practiced in other ways. Finally, we can look and see if there's a benefit to society through kindness, and if there might even be a benefit to an individual. And perhaps we'll find that what Anne Bancroft wrote on that placemat is actually part of a rising tide that is making our world a kinder place. So, kindness, a universal virtue, agreed by all, altruistic morality, held to be self-evident that kindness is good. All of these, I think, are true. And religions demonstrate this. Look at some religions. Look at Christianity with its Good Samaritan who stops to help someone in trouble by the road. Look at Judaism's Talmud, which claims that deeds of kindness are equal in weight to all the commandments. Look at Buddhism, one of the 10 perfections, loving kindness. Look at Islam. The Prophet Muhammad himself said, "Allah is kind, and he loves kindness." But you don't have to be religious to be kind. Non-religious kindness is actually the opposite of what they now call Homo economicus, the economic man. This is the individual who is totally selfish and who believes that only through what he achieves and obtains for himself and what he does, by maximizing all of these things, that's the only real way he can contribute to society. The kind person, the altruistic person, doesn't do anything for themselves. Pure altruism consists of sacrificing something to help someone else. It's actually very clearly seen in volunteerism in our society. Volunteerism has grown enormously in the last 150 years, from the early YMCAs and charitable institutions into all kinds of forms of volunteering in different countries and in different ways. All societies admire the kindly. So what then does random mean? Random means no planning. It also means that this kindness isn't a tithe, as the church would require 10% of your income to go to charity. Random kindness isn't someone who arrives each week to distribute his master's rice to the poor in front of the temple. Random kindness has to arise spontaneously, through coincidence and then through transference. Closer to true altruism than any planned foundation is the individual act. So, why practice random acts of kindness? Is it any good to society? Is it any good to us? Well, by spreading, is a human aspiration to live in a kind society and to be kind. People are motivated by this kind of selfless kindness. We admire most the figures who have exemplified this, figures like Christ, like Gandhi. But on a more mundane level, society itself recognizes the value of charity by making it tax exempt. What they're saying is that if you give to charity, we know this is good for society, so we will not tax you on that money to encourage you to do so. kindness mitigates economic hardship that we see all around us. Tipping is a way of mitigating economic hardship. Giving to beggars is a way of mitigating economic hardship. But volunteers, and this has grown enormously. You have to look now at someone like Bill Gates, the great capitalist figures who, perhaps earlier in the history of our capital society, merely amassed wealth for themselves. People like Bill Gates have given almost all of their money away to charity and to help set up volunteer organizations around the world. This is a big change. But, and this I find very intriguing, actually, kindness helps people feel better and live longer. I know kindness is altruistic, and we're not doing our kind acts to achieve anything. But it turns out that there are neurotransmitters in our necks that when we perform acts of kindness, bring a feeling of contentment to our heart, to our chest, lungs, and to our stomach. So that studies show that people who volunteer have a 40% less likely early incidence of mortality. They're happier, they're more content, and they sleep better. We have a golden circle here where people who are kind become kinder because they become more content through their acts of kindness. So, how do we conclude? Well, I know I would like to be thought of as a kindly old man. And I think everyone listening to this would like to be thought of as kindly. I think there may be a rising tide of kindness. Research shows that, in fact, there is less violence in our society. Less people die violent deaths than did 100, 500, 1,000 years ago. So perhaps what Anne Bancroft wrote on that table mat is part of a bigger feeling around the world that we want more kindness. I think Albert Einstein summed it up very well when he said, "Only life lived for others is worth living."